welcome back to another TSTerra Plays Terra video. So in today's video, we are going to go over how to start your proxy and check all of your settings with proxy for Tera Arborea Reborn. I feel as I've developed guides, it's very important for players to understand how this all works, how to utilize all of this, and just everything in general. So the first thing you're going to want to check with downloading the game, you should already have it downloaded if you've been playing, is you're going to want to go into wherever your game is. So for me it's in here, and you're going to want to make sure your Toolbox folder is with your launcher folder. Now when you download Tera Reborn, all of that should already be set up. Your Toolbox and launcher folder should be in the same spot. That way when you launch the game, it will know where to reach the Toolbox. So I already have the game launched. Before you hit play, you're going to want to hit proxy. And this is going to pull up the Toolbox. And it's going to say it's starting, and you're going to want it to kind of start. Give it a few seconds to do that. And then we're going to end up stopping it. And the only reason we're going to stop it is so that when you come to my mods, depending on the mods you have installed, you're going to probably want to get more. And I lead most people to have them kind of go for these mods. But again, it's really up to you. If you want to get extra mods, you're going to go into the get more mods, and you're going to come here and click download on all of these mods that you personally want. Now when starting the game, I believe the bug fix, like Terra game state, and maybe one other of these are the only ones that's pre-installed when you download the Toolbox. So if you want ABB, you're going to have to get that so your teammates don't body block you as much. If you want commands or internal facing, if you want the FPS manager, if you want Insta everything, if you want your NGSP, you're going to have to download those, as well as Shinner meter. And I'm going to cover the DPS meter in a later video because there's some tweaking that will need to be done to make sure that loads properly. It's not going to load for this one because I haven't had the time to mess with it. The next thing you're going to want to do is, after you have all these mods downloaded, you're going to want to make sure that the little potion is open and that this means it's enabled, meaning that you can utilize it. You also want to make sure that this circle looks like this so that, you know, the auto update is enabled. Again, if you don't want the mod to be auto updated, you can close this. If for whatever reason, let's say you don't want to play with this FPS manager and you don't want to delete it because it takes a while to re-download and reset it up in the Toolbox, you're going to want to, and you can just disable it with this function, and so on and so forth. So once you now have all those mods, you're going to go back to log and you're going to hit start. And the first time this is going to take a bit because it's going to run, it's going to install all of the mods you just downloaded, it's going to make sure they're all working and running. And once you see stop, that's when we can go back to the game and hit play. And now Toolbox is going to be running, it's going to be doing some things. And it's just going to make sure everything connects to the clientele. Once that's running, we're going to get a JavaScript error. That is to do with the DPS meter. Again, I'll release a later video after I sit down and figure out and probably talk to people to make sure I have the right idea of how to get that running. And now we can see the game is loading. If we pull up the Toolbox, we can see everything is redirecting to the Arborea Reborn server, and all is well. If you get any red error messages, there's something that you need to go through and fix. We enter the server, and now I'm just going to enter the server and I'm going to show in-game how to activate NGSP, or your next skill prediction. Just because that I feel is really important. That's something I want to cover because I've always had personally issues with, you know, remembering how to do it every time I play a new fan server, or just in general, it's good, you know, for anyone who hasn't used the Toolbox very much to understand how Toolbox works. So the first thing you're going to do is the \8 and then a space, and that's going to launch you into what says Toolbox 8. This is your toolbox. This is where you can go and start, you know, kind of diving in. And so for activating the NGSP in this server, you're going to put NGSP space UI. And once you pull that up, it is going to give you all your statuses, your ping, your average jitter, all great information if you want to keep it up. Go over to settings, and the most important thing is making sure this is checked. If that is not checked, this is not an active mod anymore, and therefore you will not, you know, it's not going to work. Sometimes when you first load it, it is going to be checked. For me, whenever I seem to load in and before I activate it the first time, that's usually not enabled. So it's always good to just go through and make sure you have it enabled. And then of course you can go through these settings and kind of set them to whatever parameter you would like. You can add extra stuff if you want. I know I activate skill debugging. You can always activate other stuff that you feel like activating. And then there's also the action, which just shows you your log folder, you know, the NGSP folder settings and extra stuff if you really want. But the big key point is to make sure you enable it. If you don't do this, it's not gonna activate, it's not gonna work, and it's not, you know, the game is not gonna run the way you might want it to. And this is also a way to just get better connection to the server in a way. It's meant to basically correct ping or high ping. That's the biggest thing of NGSP. So that's really it. Of course, if you add more mods, and depending, you know, there's ones to do your frames to help that, and they have their own set of commands that you would need to know. Depending what mods you use, you go through the toolbox, and that's about it. So if you have any questions, feel free to ask in the comment section. Of course, if y'all want a specific mod added, you can add it yourself, but be cautious, some mods can get you banned. It is better to join the Tera Arborea Reborn Discord, reach out to the mods and see what mods they will and will not accept. And depending on the mod, they may even just include it in the toolbox for everyone to then download. Assuming it's not something that's going to give an edge over a player or just make the game work in a state that the devs don't want it. The devs are very open and very kind, that honestly, if it's like a costume mod or something, I'm sure they will probably let it be a thing, or they may even try to implement it themselves so that you don't have to download a mod. So the links to all the servers will be, of course, in the description of the video, as well as if you want to download the server and start playing. And that's about it. Like I said, I feel like this is a great topic to cover before I start covering even more dungeon and more guide content, because having your proxy working is so important. I think the first week I was playing and doing some testing, I did not run with a true proxy, and it's massively different. Having charging slash go through bosses, getting stuck on players with some things, and then you put all of that and you fix it all, and it just feels so smooth. So I hope you like this content. If you have, go ahead and hit that like button. If you're not subscribed, please consider doing so to catch all the latest Tera content on console or PC fan servers. Within that is the end of this video. Hope you all have a wonderful and or fantastic night.